It is Wednesday, July 6th, and we have a very special episode today. We will be sharing some MLB news that happened, as well as our predictions for the Detroit Lions. But most importantly, Zach and I will debate our personal list of the top 10 NBA players of all time. This will
Mine
be a
is
lot of
correct.
fun. But Zach, you have anything to say before we get going?
I'm excited to just destroy you on this NBA list. I know
Yep.
you think you know a lot about NBA, but you really don't. So I'm pumped for that.
Okay.
Also, to just talk about the Detroit Lions.
Oh yeah, nothing more exciting than the
Yeah.
Detroit Lions, huh? But you've been doing good.
Yeah, I've been good. Celebrated 4th of July. Always a great holiday. Shooting off fireworks. It's awesome.
Uh huh.
Um, the fireworks in Jacksonville, very good. Shooting them off from two different directions on the same river. It was crazy.
Yeah, good
It
stuff.
was awesome.
And you had some family go down, so
Yep,
you
mom and
got to
dad
catch up with
and
them.
Kaylee did fun or very packed weekend.
Oh yeah.
Went to the beach, went to St. Augustine, played putt-putt golf, did it all.
Are you any
Ate.
good?
Am
Any
I
good
good
at
at
putt putt?
putt-putt?
Yeah.
Did you seriously ask that?
Because
Yeah, I won.
I played actual golf this last Friday, I guess. And dude, I got my first bogey. Are you proud?
Nice.
Are you proud of me? My first
Yes.
actually legit bogey. I
Do you have
like
your own clubs or did you borrow someone's?
it was my buddy's, I guess his dad's like old clubs or
Oh
something, so I
yeah.
used them. But I think I mentioned it on here before. The driver has always been a weakness for me. Like I'm shanking
Yeah.
everything.
Just
And
hit an
I've
iron off the tee.
we've talked about that. Me and the friend have, but we also
Strategizing before the hole. Yeah.
seriously
I don't know if I should hit the iron.
we realized that I bring my hands in like when I'm
Hmm.
in my, I guess not follow through, but in my swing.
Yeah.
But when I keep them extended, like I'm getting on the inside of the ball
Yeah.
and hitting it, I guess on the nose or whatever.
Yeah,
I think
I
that's what
I
they call.
come in with my drive. I think it may be my shaft because you can get like stiffer or like more flexible.
Mm-hmm.
And I come in, I think my shaft just lags behind my hands and it always
Gotcha.
hits it to the right. But my irons and stuff I hit pretty straight most of the time. So most of the time I just tee off with like a 3 wood or a 3 hybrid because I
I might
can't
have
hit
to
my
try that.
driver straight.
I might have to try that because I finally got my driver straight. It was a par three, and I got it in four shots. I guess is that what you say
You
in
hit your
golf?
driver on a par 3.
Yeah. For being so he told me like I'm a bigger guy, so like I should be able to drive it pretty good. I could not get it's something like
It's all in
I
the hips, the
exactly.
rotational
There's so
power.
many like skinnier guys even in the PGA that are driving it an insane amount. So obviously it has to do with more technique than just like build. But
Mhm.
no, it was fun though. I hope to go more like coming up so I can kind of, I don't know. I think it would just take repetition to kind of
Yeah.
like perfect it, just like pretty much anything. But um, do you have any? Did you see it? Do you want to get us going there?
Oh, I do. I have two.
Okay.
In celebration of the awesome holiday, July 4th, yesterday, we witnessed probably one of the greatest athletes of all time and probably the most dominant performance in sports history. I honestly think it is, without a doubt. First off, he goes to the competition on one leg in crutches,
Mm-hmm.
a cast on his leg. He wins the competition eating 63 hot dogs for his 15th title. I don't think anyone's had 15 titles. We sure know LeBron hasn't. He's may have lost
Oh.
that many times. Um, yeah, better than MJ, Tom Brady,
Bill
Bill
Russell.
Russell, even. Bill
Yep.
Russell only has 11. And also, while he's doing that, just pounding some hot dogs, a protester comes on, he just chokes him out. That was like the most American thing. It just got me hyped up. It wanted me to just like
Mid hot
go
dog.
ride an eagle and shoot some bad guys or
Yeah.
something. It got me pumped up. I want to get like a tattoo of Joey Chestnut. That's gonna be like the new like eagle on people's backs. It's gonna be Joey Chestnut choking the guy out.
At some point he's got to like come to an end with this, right? It's got to be. I mean, I know he probably. I've seen a lot of videos of those guys like throwing it up afterwards and like all this stuff. But I mean, eventually it's got
It's
to be.
disgusting. You don't really eat it. You just like stick it in water and then
Yeah,
just like swallow it whole
yeah.
like
It
you're
gets
an
all
alligator.
soggy. Yeah, and it doesn't sound real. There's like There's pictures of him afterwards. It's like all over his face, and he looks like he's about to hurl like there. It's so nasty, bro.
Oh, I do have another. Did you see it after
Yeah,
that?
yeah.
One of the most dominant performances. But going back to that, I thought he like that was like the way he just like I thought he snapped the guy's neck.
Uh-huh.
And
Yeah.
honestly, if he did, I have no problem with it.
Yeah.
But
Well, did you see what the protester had? It was a Star Wars thing.
yeah, I don't know what it meant.
I don't know what it meant either. And I think he had a Darth Vader uh mask on. I
Yeah, I
don't
don't know
even
what
know.
the sign said. Yeah, I don't know. It made no sense to
It
me.
said, oh my gosh, something about the North Star, is that Star Wars or
The Death
something
Star.
Death Star. So something it was something like witness or remember the Death Star deaths or something like that. I have no idea what it meant. I don't even know.
It probably has some probably means something else.
Yeah, it
Weird.
has to. I don't know what that was all about.
But nothing like hot dogs on 4th of July.
Yeah.
But my other, did you see it was it was some baseball game. But they like panned away.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I didn't, did I send it to anyone? Oh yeah, I did send it to you. It was at, I don't know what game it was. Hold on. The Mets, Reds, or it was coming up next. I don't know what they were doing, but it just like goes away and it's just this kid throwing a rock and it hits this goose directly in the head. And I
Yeah.
just cracked me up.
Yeah. That was funny. So mine is with sports as well. So Colin Cowherd is a very famous I guess spokesperson and host of his own show on TV and radio and everything on sports. And so he decided to come out with his top 10 best run organizations. So like from the top down. So his top 10 in no particular order were the Miami Heat, which I don't really get that one very much.
I
Do
feel
you?
like they're pretty well ran.
I think they're well ran, but listen to some of these others. There's like a handful I can even think of better than that. The Warriors, I agree with that. You would agree with that, right?
Yeah.
The Milwaukee Bucks. That blows my mind. That is like awful
What do
to
you
me.
mean? I think they have a good organization.
But it was the last 10 years top 10 best run organizations. Like if I think of all the sports, the Milwaukee Bucks are not the like before Giannis got there, they were a nobody.
Well, you said last 10 years, and that Giannis has been in that last 10 years.
I don't know. I just
Giannis has been in the league like 8 years and he's like 24.
I'll keep going because there's one that I think you're really going to disagree with. The Boston Celtics, I get that. The Tampa Bay Lightning, obviously they've been dominant. The Los Angeles Dodgers.
I don't know if they're a good run. They just have a lot of money.
Yeah.
But they do bring up a lot of good prospects every year that
they draft well, yeah. The Atlanta Braves. I don't get that one. How about
maybe
this?
like if you're doing like last couple, but like they just drafted two good guys. That's exactly about it. I guess Swanson they drafted Swanson or they traded for him or something.
They traded for him. Yep. The Buffalo Bills. I think that's the worst team on this. It is awful to me. They haven't won anything like ever. Angeles Rams.
No.
That's not, like what? And then the Kansas City Chiefs, which you know what? I mean, being biased, this is what frustrated me. The Cardinals have had one losing season in the last 22 years. In our lifetime, we've had one losing season. How are we not mentioned? And I commented that there, and we got like 150 likes for it. And people, oh my gosh, bro. One guy was like, because they have Kyler Murray and they're in Arizona now. I'm like,
yeah,
you're so stupid. Like, I'm not talking about the Arizona Cardinals.
You know, he was doing that on purpose.
No, he wasn't.
Really?
I was like, that's kind of funny. And then somebody was like, he's talking about MLB, stupid. And he's like, oh, I got you. I was like, oh my gosh.
That's funny. No, it's because all like Sports Center does now is they just only talk about the NBA and NFL because I think it just has more drama to it. And they just, I don't know, they just barely talk about baseball anymore. And a lot of the ESPN baseball guy people are okay.
Yeah.
But
well, even I guess we could go this thing with hockey. Like I could probably, not off the top of my head, I have to think about it. Some organizations that have been run better than the Los Angeles Rams. I mean, they've just bought everybody.
Yeah,
I mean, they drafted Aaron Donald, sure, but I mean, all the other
that's about it.
superstars.
They give
Yeah,
away all their picks.
Aaron Donald, and I guess Johnny Hecker are the only two Rams that were here.
I wonder what his criteria was for best run organizations, because you can interpret that in a lot of different ways. Like you can
Yes.
be like winning, like popularity, money. Because if you go by that,
Drafting.
then it would be the Cowboys because we're the richest. But
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
obviously not good at winning because we suck.
But I
But
mean,
like,
it could have. He didn't explain it, but it could have been drafting. It could have been going in guys. There's a whole lot of different aspects.
there's
to
a
that.
lot of MLB teams that, like, I don't like the Giants, but they're a pretty good rain organization.
Oh, definitely. Are you talking about San Francisco? Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay. I was like,
the Jets. No.
yeah. So yeah, the Giants could have been there. I just think that the three
The
that stood out-
Patriots.
yeah. Like, what is that all about? I didn't even think about them. The Bills stood out to me. I think that's awful. The Braves, the Rams, and then see, we named. I go back to that Bucks one. We named some teams right there that are better run than the Bucks. So
Yeah,
I'm
I
not.
think it may just be that they won a championship. I
It
guess.
definitely has something to do with it.
Did
They've
they
been good
draft
the last-
Middleton?
No, the Pistons did, but they traded
But, yeah.
1 year after to get him. But yeah, I thought that was interesting. But we can kind of transition from that into more Cardinals baseball. We're kind of in a rut right now. Lost 3 of 4, but we're also in a time where we're playing some tough teams. We had the Phillies for 3 in Philadelphia, got the Braves for 4 right now, and then we play Philly again and the Dodgers. So it's kind of tough, man. But everything I'm seeing is that we're supposed to have a pretty easy schedule the second half compared to like other teams.
Yeah.
So hopefully that'll like help us out. But have you been able to watch much Cardinals baseball?
I watched. Oh, what game did I watch? I watched some Phillies games, I think.
Yeah.
There were ones we lost.
Yeah,
I don't remember who was. It was whenever. Yeah, we got shut out.
yeah. Wheeler was good, man. Holy cow! Like,
Yeah, who? Oh, Wayno. Yeah, Wayno kind of struggled. I just hope Mo just gets pitching.
something.
Like not
So
some like washed up person.
Yeah.
Like someone who like will at least have a sub 4 ERA.
So that gets me into this next point I was going to make, actually, is that the main thing I see here, and we had a couple like bad offensive performances. I do want to mention the 4 consecutive home runs, that first time in Cardinals history. That was pretty
11th time in
unbelievable.
MLB history.
That's insane.
Mhm.
But the pitching does need help. So we have Wayno and Michaelis, who are reliable.
And Nolan Arenado hit for the cycle.
I forgot about that too.
That's the
Yes.
game. That's the game where we got shut out because we were watching that.
Yeah. So like I was saying, so Wainwright and Michaelis are reliable. They're the top 2. Hudson's really struggled.
He's been
recently.
really bad. He's pitched like
And-
23 innings and given up 22 runs.
You saw
in
that
his
stat
last-
too?
Yeah.
You see it on Twitter? Yeah, I saw that.
Mhm.
But then besides that, Liberatore just doesn't seem ready yet to me.
Yeah.
And Palante's been good.
You just no one hits whenever he pitches.
Yeah. I just to be right now, the more I'm seeing it, we're not a World Series team. Like, we need another guy.
We've said that this whole year. We need pitching.
Yeah.
Like,
Yep.
because we got up, like we did win the game, I believe, when we got up 5 and then they came back and tied it.
Yes.
And I think we got ahead, but it's like, come on. I don't know who gave
Mhm.
up the runs. Probably, I really don't know.
It was all I think they were all to Liberatore.
Oh, really?
Like, all were earned. I think he gave up 3, put 2 guys on, and then I think it was Thompson gave up a tying double. But no, so we've mentioned Montes, we've mentioned as I think that's when I talked to you about that. Molly and Castillo are available in Cincinnati.
We're not going to get them.
Exactly. It's tough in the division. But is Gorman available to you?
I'd
he,
trade
like, off
Yepes
limits?
over Gorman.
So
I'm back on the Yepes trading because, like, literally he cannot play defense.
No,
I
he's
think you could put a
so bad.
10-year-old out there and he'd catch
Yeah.
it. Tate Matheny as a 9-year-old out there would catch it over Yepes.
Yeah. Yeah. If you know, you know, right?
Yeah.
But
Listen to the last episode.
the only reason I said Gorman like asked that question is because like I see Gorman probably as a DH more than a second baseman, and Burleson's down there right now. Now 16 homers, 60 RBIs, batting 341.
The bad thing about Burleson is he's god awful in defense too.
Yeah, and Gorman
out of the three of them is the best.
Yeah, I agree with that. So, I would be absolutely shocked, and I'm on the side of where I try to give Mo the benefit of the doubt the majority of the time. But if I will say, if they don't do anything to get some kind of pitching, whether that, I mean, none of these guys really put you over the top, but they help out so much, and so I would be really actually upset if we don't do anything, because obviously this is a win now.
When is the trade deadline? It's after the All-Star game, right?
Late August or late July.
Late July, like July 22nd or something.
That sounds right. Yeah. It's coming up. So we'll see how they
I always like that day.
It's so fun, man. Like I'm constantly.
Even though the Cardinals never do anything, we just sign like some reliever you've never heard of.
Yep.
But hopefully we sign like a Mark Rachimsky and Octavio Dotel.
Yeah. It's in the division, and it's not going to happen, but David Robertson, Cubs, has pitched so well this year. Really? And I was like, man, that'd be so awesome to have him. But
the bad thing is Frankie Montas left his last game.
He did. Yeah, that's a good point. And he's 3-9, so it doesn't look good record-wise, but it's the A's. So, I mean, every time he's going out, he's got like a 3 ERA still. And Marquez has really struggled, but he's in Colorado.
What about the Rangers guy? There's some guy on the Rangers who's pitched good.
Martin Perez.
Yeah, he's like 31.
Yeah.
I mean, I have to give up as much.
That seems like a guy we would go after, right?
Give out Newt Bar.
I think Newt has to go, and I like Newt a lot, but we have so many guys, man. I mean, Connor Capel hit a homer last night, so he's up in his trade stock too. But
I think we just really need Bader and O'Neill back.
O'Neill had 2 hits in AAA last night.
Yeah,
my corner.
My roommate from college, he lives in Raleigh now, and he went to the Durham game last night because I don't think he realized they're playing the Redbirds, or maybe he did, but he like sent me a thing. He's like, Tyler O'Neill's playing. I'm like, what? And I was pumped because I didn't realize he was rehabbing already.
Yeah,
so
he's really close. I haven't heard anything about Bader, and then Matz is still pitching well down there. But I have 2 names that you might know about.
Hicks is back though, right?
Hicks is back. Yeah,
didn't he pitch?
An inning and 2/3 of scoreless, something like that.
Good. So good to have him in the bullpen.
Definitely, they need help back there.
Yes.
But these 2 names that not many Cardinals fans know lower in the organization. There's a guy now in Springfield named Mike Antico, and he has 40 stolen bases.
Really?
Already.
What does he play?
He's an outfielder.
Can he hit?
He's batting like 260, but because 40 stolen bases in like 80 games, it's insane.
That's insane.
And then the other one was he's in Springfield now, but the other guy is I think he's still in low A, and we drafted him.
Is it Tink?
Tink, yeah.
Tink, yeah.
Tink Hens. So Tink had this was like a week ago, but we haven't filmed in a while, so I haven't been able to say it. But 3 innings pitched, 1 hit, and 8 strikeouts. So 8 of the 9 guys he got out, he struck out, and he's got a 1.49 ERA. I still think he's only 19.
Yeah, he's really young, I think, and they're really like watching his pitch count too. Yeah. But it's kind of exciting to have a guy who actually strikes out people.
Oh yeah. Yes. Instead of all these like, I mean, I don't want to, talk bad on him, but all these guys that just like locate really well and throw 92, like this guy's electric. So,
he's what we thought Flaherty was gonna be.
Oh man, if Flaherty, if you get Montas and you have Montas, Michaelis, Wainwright, and let's say Flaherty comes back, I think you win a World Series or can win a World Series. I don't think you have to do anything positional wise. You agree with that?
No, I think our position players can win our World Series caliber in our pitching.
Yep. I completely agree. And I think we're really only
we're actually like good hitting. Like we're actually hitting good this year.
Oh yeah.
Like Arenado's on a tear still. Goldie still still on it hot all year long. Donovan, Edmund, Carlson's been hotter.
Yep.
Yepes, he can only play DH. If you put him in anywhere in the field, liability.
Yep. But I have other news from around the MLB. as my dog has joined me here.
Nice.
He's jumped up here, but no. So the National League, the Marlins. I have a question for you. Are they a playoff contender now? Because they're 38-40 and they're 4 games back of a wild card.
They have really good pitching.
Yeah, I mean
I think
Sandy might
they
just
have a
carry them.
solid team,
Yeah, definitely.
and Don Mattingly's their manager, so they're going to be solid. I think
It's
they
a
can make it.
especially with the third wild card. I think they have a chance for sure.
Yeah, I forgot about
Um,
that.
Another team I wanted to mention was the Pittsburgh Pirates. Don't mention them very often, but they had back-to-back games with 3 homers
Oh yeah, I
from
saw
players.
that.
Do you see that? So I think
Yeah.
last week it was the day after Brian Reynolds did it.
Yeah,
And then Michael Perez, their catcher, who bats like 151 these last 3 years. And he's a guy I don't think I've talked about on here. I am like shocked he even has a job because
really.
he bats like 140 and 150 every year. It's insane. He must be like a good defensive guy.
Yeah. Speaking of catchers, we signed Austin.
Romine.
Yeah, Romine.
Yep.
I'll take it. A guy you're gonna get like solid veteran,
Definitely.
better than having like Herrera just needs to play more.
Mhm. I agree with that. And like Herrera obviously showed he's not ready yet, kind of like I was talking about Libby, but Kisner, man, I don't know what's gone in at the plate. He's always been able to hit coming up,
Yeah.
and now he can't. I don't know what that is. And then I can't tell if the San Francisco Giants are good or not. I can't tell. Like they're in a 5-game losing streak now. Last week when we were talking about them, they were like on a 5-game winning streak. They're 2 games over 500. I literally can't tell what they are. But in the American League, the Astros have won 7 straight. They've had a really good year. We've mentioned them before. The White Sox hanging around. They're 5.5 back in the division still. They're just like hanging on, and I guess until they get healthy.
Yeah.
And then lastly, the Red Sox are now second in the East. They're 10 games over 500 in the East that is run by the right now. So second place, but 13 games back. So
13 games. Oh
Yeah.
my god.
yeah, the Blue Jays are like 14, and then the Rays are 4th place now. And I had the Rays winning the division.
Really?
So
That was a dumb take.
that's not going well. Do you have Blue Jays?
I had Blue Jays. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's also a dumb take now.
the Yankees, man. Man. We
um,
mentioned it last week. I'm waiting for them to get an injury that messes them up, but what were you
waiting
gonna
for
say?
Aaron Judge to pull something.
Exactly.
What is you remember in the beginning of the year, the NL West, everyone was over 500.
Yeah.
How are the Diamondbacks and Rockies doing?
So I think they're both 12 under now. But it's not like, I mean, they'll probably end up doing their 25.
I literally have
games
not
under,
heard
but-
anything about the Rockies.
No.
And you know what's great
No.
is my least favorite player is on the Rockies, Chris Bryant.
Would you say he's your least favorite? I
hate him.
That's crazy.
I don't know if
I mean,
he's
I
my
don't like him
least
either,
favorite.
but
I don't like
mean,
Johnny Cueto.
I'd put Alex Bregman up there for me.
I hate Chris Bryant more. And I probably Johnny Cueto the most because he literally spiked Jason LaRue in the head and ended his career.
Do you dislike Chris Bryant more than Bryce Harper?
Probably. But if Bryce Harper played for the
Bryce
Cubs
Harper was a
or the
Cub.
Reds,
That would just put you over the top, wouldn't it?
yeah, I would probably jump off a bridge.
I'm trying to think. There's a name I'm missing that I just can't stand. Huh. Not a Yankee. I don't like Garrett Cole. Not a Dodger.
Soto, Juan Soto.
I don't like Soto. That's very true. Dang.
Do you see he declined their offer for like 350 million?
Recently, I did not see
Yeah, it
that.
was like the second extension he's declined.
Oof. I don't know. I mean, when is he technically able to like make his own decision here?
Like enter free agency.
Yeah.
You have to be he has a lot of years, I think.
Like before that.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
like so many years. You have to like so many years under the club control or until you turn a certain age.
Yeah, that's what I figured. But no, we'll have more MLB next week. Unless you have anything else right now, we can move on to the NFL instead of we usually do MLB, NHL, then NBA, then NFL, but no NHL to talk about right now. Besides
You
the
know
draft
what
in
we
a
need to
couple weeks.
start talking more about?
What's that?
College football.
Coming up, man.
It's good. I just see some stuff. It just gets me. I just love nothing like waking up on Saturday morning, turning on College Game Day,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
watching
See,
football all
you're
day.
more of a college guy than I am.
Oh,
You're
I
more
love it.
knowledgeable
I've
on that.
always when I was like since I was a kid, I'd always watch College Game Day and watch all the games.
Yeah.
So like when I got to go to College Game Day this past year, it was like a dream come true. It was
Well,
awesome.
that's what I was gonna say is like you are more knowledgeable on college football than I am, and you're more into it that probably than I am. But I still remember even growing up, I would turn on Saturday mornings and like have my bowl of cereal, and it would just be like the best time ever. Um,
My dad make me
Game
a
day,
breakfast burrito. I was in
yeah.
heaven.
I
Unless
don't
when I
have,
was playing Little League football, then it was hard for me to actually watch it. So
yeah. I don't really have a team. That's also you have Clemson and Conlon as Notre Dame. I don't.
vote.
I'm.
Come on, join Clemson. We're good. We're nice. Root for
I
Mizzou.
I could yeah. I watch Mizzou every once in a while, and I really just like I don't know. I just keep up with it, you know. But
Speaking of Clemson, we've gotten like a ton of 4-star recruits for 2023, and we're like top 5 now. I think we've gotten like offensive lineman recruits. Like we have like I just saw we've gotten like 15 4-stars or 13 4-stars. Like none of them are
yeah.
5-stars, but that's fine because we were pretty good at developing players.
Mm-hmm.
And like if you're 4-star, you have pretty good talent already. I
Do
just think you're not
have
as
do they have the preseason rankings or anything out, or is
I
any of
don't know if
that
like the AP one's out yet
okay?
or
Because do you
anything.
think you'll be in the top 25 to start?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I think we have the best defense in the league. Best
Okay.
front seven. Hands down. I know I'm biased, but like we're returning everyone.
Do you think you're a top, like not a top, a national champion contender?
Yeah.
Like, is it that good? Okay.
Yeah. Like I'm getting like flashbacks to my freshman year whenever the whole defense from the year before when they lost in the playoff to Alabama with Kelly Bryant, that whole defense came back with like um Christian Wilkins, uh Cleveland Farrell, Austin Bryant, Dexter Lawrence, Isaiah Simmons,
Yeah.
all those guys came back. And this year we have Brian Bursey, who's the number one recruit in the country. He tore his ACL last year, but was a beast as a freshman. Miles Murphy, who's like 6'5", huge, but like so fast. Ruka Robero, who's a defensive tackle who just has a sweet name and is a beast.
Uh-huh.
Tyler Davis, amazing. J.K. Henry, he's been there for like 5 years.
Look at you getting all football nerdy on me. I
Yeah,
like it.
Xavier Thomas, 5-star recruit. He was a freshman when I was a freshman. This is his 5th year. He struggled. He got COVID and like struggled from coming back from that. But last year he played really good, and he's just like beast. He had probably sorry, I'm going like on a big like tangent, but I'm
No,
getting
go for it.
excited. He had probably like the greatest sack I've ever seen my freshman year when we came back and beat Syracuse with Chase Bryce. He threw a 4th and 15 pass to T. Higgins. And then Travis Etienne had like 200 yards rushing that game. But like Syracuse got the ball after he scored and they were like close to the student section. And he came around and literally it was the most beautiful sack ever. Like you have to watch the video. Like I'll send it to you, but it was
Yeah.
beautiful and it was crazy.
Drilled
But
them.
yeah. And we also have, sorry,
Yeah.
everyone's always counting Clemson out. So, I just got to prove them right. Yes,
Yeah.
our quarterback is very shaky,
Mhm.
but we also have, I just saw a ranking of the top linebackers. I don't know if it was actually an ESPN person or just some random person, but we have a linebacker, Trent Simpson,
Okay.
beast. We had a freshman safety last year. He's good. We got like 2 5-star corners. So yeah, our defense wins championships. And we just need DJ to just throw for over 200 yards like every single game.
Yeah.
And I think our running backs, we have good running backs. So if we can run the ball, we're good.
No, so I'm glad you did that. As I was like your little time to shine
Yeah.
there,
College
talking
football. Let's
Clemson.
go.
But we can
I got all
talk
my
about
Iptay on. Let's go.
we can talk about a team that is at the bottom of the NFL now.
Yeah.
The Detroit Lions. So
Whew.
yikes. I have them improving this year. I have them at 5-12. What do you think?
Ooh. I had them at I went through the schedule really quick before this. I had them at
Yep.
4-13. I think they could win more. I really think they're a good team. Like, I don't know if they're like talent wise good. They just play
Mhm.
hard.
Yeah. And
Like,
they
I think they'll
were
beat the Vikings, one of their two matchups.
yes, I agree with that. I had them. So I looked up what they were in the division last year because they were very competitive. I remember that
Mhm.
they just could
All
not
their
like
games were
finish
close. They
games.
had a bunch of heartbreaking losses.
Exactly. So that's why I have them improving a little bit. But no, they were 2-4 in the division last year. So I have them roughly the same this year. I think they'll both to the Packers, but beat the Vikings one time. And who
Beat the
else is the
Bears.
Bears? Yeah, I have them beating the Bears
They
once.
played
So.
the Giants, the Jags, and the Jets, and the
And the
Panthers.
Panthers, yeah. So they, I mean, they have chances to definitely be close to the 100 mark. But like you mentioned, I just think their roster's not real strong. I just it's weak, and I think they play hard because of Campbell as their coach kind of
Yeah.
instills that in them. But Goff is just, just not good. And
I'm kind of happy they didn't take a quarterback this draft. I don't think Jared Goff is a solid quarterback in the
mhm,
NFL. He's better than the majority of people. And I don't think you need to like reach for someone when you have someone reliable.
yep,
But I really think their offense, I want to say, I think their offense is going to be better than expected.
their
They have
running backs are
DeAndre
solid.
Swift, yeah, Jamal Williams as the running backs. And then Amon Ross St. Brown,
Mhm,
he got really good. He was really good at the end of the year last year. They signed DJ Chark to a 1-year deal. He's solid.
yep,
And then to me, they got the best wide receiver in the draft in Jamison Williams, which I think he will be out for part of the season because he tore his ACL.
yep. I
And
forgot
then
about
I
him.
have my fantasy tight end from last year, TJ Hawkinson, doing me good, doing me making me proud. And they got
I mean,
Quintez Cephas as a backup. He just has a sweet name.
what about
And Josh Reynolds.
defensively though? That's where it worries me because
They
I think
drafted Aiden Hutchinson. So I was not as high on Aiden Hutchinson as everyone in
yeah,
the NFL community was. But
yeah,
it is cool that he's going back to playing in Michigan.
he'll help. Yeah,
Michael Brockers, he played for the Rams, St. Louis Rams, a long time
I did
ago.
not know Brockers was in Detroit. Holy cow!
Um, Jeff Okuda, hopefully he played at Ohio State, so not my
Yeah,
favorite,
he's
but
just not put it together yet, and he's
yeah,
also dealt with some injuries.
yeah.
So
Um, I can't really recognize anyone else's name. Let me
that's what I
look
was.
at their.
Whenever I was looking through it, I was like, I don't really see anything.
Yeah, they had a. I feel like they had a really good draft though. Hutchinson should be solid. Jamison
Hmm.
Williams, electric.
Definitely.
Kirby Joseph, a safety from Illinois. I don't know.
Hmm.
Actually, as I look at their depth chart, they may have some of these guys out there. Um, no, they drafted like two linebackers, Malcolm Rodriguez, James Houston, and then a cornerback. So, and they drafted a tight end.
So they were really trying to help out that defensive side.
Yeah.
That was a main emphasis. But my really complete and final analysis of them is that I do think they'll improve with a couple wins because I think a couple of those games that last year they were really close with, I think they'll learn from that and kind
Yeah.
of build off that. And also, like you said, their schedule is not extremely difficult, especially with
Mhm.
some of those teams. So I think they'll be 5-12. And I just don't think they have the depth and firepower to get it done. Like they have really like St. Brown is good and Hawkinson is really good. Swift has a lot of potential, but they don't have like the none of those guys are unless you want to say Hawkinson are like that top echelon,
Yeah.
like the guy. So but Hawkinson, I he's a guy I mentioned that or put down that top 5 tight end and really young too, right? In the
Yeah, he's pretty
24,
young.
25, something like that.
Swift could be good if he stays healthy because he's pretty
Gotta stay
fast.
healthy. Yep, definitely.
But I'm looking at their line, and their line, they have some good. They have Panay Sewell from last year. He's a beast.
Yes.
And
Yeah,
then
he's a
Frank
monster.
Ragna, who I'm pretty sure is pretty solid. I don't recognize the other names, but they have some guy who has a very big name. I'm not even going to try to pronounce that.
All right. Um, but I mean, who do you want to go to next episode? You want to go Vikings, Bears, or Packers?
Mm, care.
Want to go Bears?
The Bears.
Okay,
Sure.
we'll go the Bears. So let's move on to our final segment of the day and our most anticipated segment. I've been so excited for this. So the NBA. So the start before we get into
The
our
National
top 10
Basketball Association.
Thank you, Zach. Before we get into our top 10 all time, I wanted to mention some signings because it's free agency time that is happening right now. And we haven't really talked much about that besides like
A lot
posting
of
some
stuff
about
happened.
it. Tons. So I literally went through the entire free agency. That's what happened. I'm not, you know what I'm saying. That's what, how am I messing this up? What has happened? I went through everything that what has happened.
You kept saying that.
I
Started
know.
with that instead of what?
So I didn't every team because some teams have little signings that don't really mean much. But I did list some big ones that happened. So I'm going to go through them real quick here, if that's okay with you. Okay. So Brooklyn got TJ Warren. I believe that was to think that is a good sign.
Yeah.
Last time we saw him on the court, he was like really good.
Yeah, like 20 a game.
Yeah. So the Chicago Bulls re-signed Zach LaVine, got Goran Dragic and Andre Drummond. I think that's a really good,
yeah, that's really good.
Them. Especially Drummond backing up Vooch.
Yeah,
I really like
Drummond's a beast.
The Cavs, the only real big move they made is they re-signed, or I guess extend Garland for 5 years. I think that's really good for
loyal
for them. The Nuggets, they re-signed or extended Jokic 5 years, and he has the largest contract in NBA history. It's pushing 300 mil. And then they got Bruce Brown. They signed him, which he was a really good role player.
And they made the stupidest trade of all time. I think we already talked about that, didn't we?
Did we?
Where they traded for those people for Contavious Caldwell-Pope, Monte Morris, and
Will Barton. Yeah, we talked about that. That was like that draft night. The Clippers signed John Wall. We might have mentioned that, but I think if he's healthy, that really helps them.
Yeah, I like
John
that.
Wall, PG, Kawhi, Zubac in the middle. It's going to be a tough team. The Lakers got Lonnie Walker and Toscano Anderson. And I know we can make fun of the signings, but they are younger. And Lonnie Walker had a really good year with the Spurs last year. And Toscano Anderson's a role player for that.
Toscano Anderson. He sounds very familiar. Who do you
Warriors.
play for? Oh, yeah. Play with him on 2K.
Yeah, there you go.
Not bad.
The Grizzlies re-signed Tyus Jones, which is a surprise to me because I thought I've been praising Tyus on here about how I think he's going to make good money somewhere to be a backup. He's one of the best backups in the league, but he likes what's going on in Memphis, so he's going to continue to back up Ja. The Bucks re-signed Bobby Portis and got Joe Ingles. I think that's a good for what they for what they need, a corner 3 guy.
Yeah, D 3 and D.
Perfect. The Minnesota Timberwolves kind of shocked the whole NBA community with the Rudy Gobert trade. Really
so stupid.
Really interesting to see that combination of two of the top 5 bigs in basketball team. Kind of interesting.
Yeah.
And they also
Gobert,
got
a guy who plays defense, a guy who doesn't play defense.
But you said it best. I think Cat doesn't have to worry about anything defensively now. So
no.
He can just
team.
Run and gun it.
D'Angelo Russell, Anthony Edwards, some other guy.
Yeah, I don't know who there's going to be.
And then they're bigs because they basically traded their whole team away for 4 first-round picks too.
Yeah, so
and Malik Beasley, like a lot of good, solid players too.
People were saying for Rudy Gobert trade package. I mean, what's KD going to get? Like, holy cow! But the Pelicans extended. I keep saying that extended Zion Williamson for 5 years. Really interesting to me because he hasn't. When he's been on the floor, he's been dominant, but he's just not been on the floor. The Knicks being market are doing little moves, but I kind of like them. Oh yeah, with Brunson, you talking about? Yeah. So Jalen is there for 4 years. A lot of money for Jalen Brunson, but I like Jalen, and
he deserves it, but overpaid.
Mitchell Robinson re-signed him, and the low key one is Stein. I think he's a really good backup big. Isaiah Hartenstein. You would know him if you saw him.
Yeah, I play with him on 2K.
So, and then the Thunder got Lou Dort for 5 years, like $87 million. It's
he deserves
insane. I like
He
Gary.
averages like 15 a game, plays lockdown D, gets no love,
One of the best wing
Dort.
defenders for sure, or guard defenders, I guess.
and cool name.
The Sixers got PJ Tucker. I think that really helps out their defensive. I mean, PJ's older, but he's still like that gritty, tough
PJ
guy.
Tucker just goes to every Eastern Conference
Yeah,
contender.
a new team
The
every year.
Bucks, the Heat, the
Yeah.
Sixers.
Yep. The Blazers, Anthony Simons, and we both really like Simons, but 100 mil, man, that's insane. Nurkic got 4 years. I don't have his money down, but it was way too much. And then they got Gary Payton II for 3 years.
And that's why the Trailblazers were not on Colin Cowherd's top 10 best organizations.
exactly. Then I have two more teams. So the Kings got Malik Monk, and I think that really is good for the Kings. But more importantly, it's the reunion of De'Aaron Fox and Malik Monk, which is pretty sick.
Yeah.
And then lastly, Raptors got Chris Boucher. They re-signed him. Picked up Otto Porter. I really like that sign. Raptors, and they re-signed Thad Young. They're in the conversation with the KD thing, and I just pray, please don't let KD go to Toronto. Like, I just started this hopping on the fan base or in the fan base there. So, but no, the Otto Porter and Boucher and Thad Young, that's literally like what they do. The long athletic wings, like that's just what they like. But that leads me into my question for you. I've said it on our TikTok already, but where do you think KD will end up? All the drama around him.
I have no idea. I really don't.
They've listed 3 teams that are like really good fits. I agree with the first one. I think Phoenix would be ideal for him. And then the other teams were, I'm drawing a blank. Oh, the Miami Heat, which would fit really well as well. And then the Pelicans are an interesting one because I think they have
the Mavs were on there too.
They were. The only problem
would be so sweet.
The only problem was trade package. Like, what do you?
They have nothing.
The Pelicans makes the most sense because they could put a package around Brandon Ingram, only 24, and put in like Jackson Hayes, Herb Jones was another one they throw in there.
Yeah, Lewis, Kyra Lewis or something they just drafted last year.
Yeah, out of Alabama. So that one makes the most to me. For the Suns, they're going to have to extend or sign and trade probably Ayton and Mikal Bridges, and then adding Cameron Johnson. And at that point, if you're the Suns, you have an aging Chris Paul who kind of showed it at the end of this last season. Devin Booker is still Devin Booker, and then KD, but there's no supporting cast, and that's what made the Suns so good. Is they would campaign Crowder, even though I don't like them, they were really good and helped out that team. So I still think he ends up with Phoenix somehow. I just think that's one of those. Phoenix and Miami were the 2 teams he has mentioned.
Yeah.
So it's really interesting, though, everything going down with that. But that's all I have free agency wise. We can get into our main segment here. Top 10 players of all time. This should be fun. How do you want to do this? You want to do like we do with our normal top 10, one at a time?
Yeah, sure.
You want to get us started or you want me?
You can go.
So my number 10 of all time. I'm so excited to do this. NBA is probably my favorite. Like basketball's my favorite sport, so this should be fun. But I have Shaquille O'Neal, 10th all time. And Shaq, I don't want to go through and just every player list off their accolades because all these are just insane accolades.
Well, these accolades matter.
I meant stats. Like, I don't want to go through stats, but accolades, yeah.
I'll list off all the stats of everyone.
So Shaq is obviously, I would say he's the most dominant player of all time. But for my top 10 players, I go off of, I guess, ability to do everything on the court, And so Shaq was very good at just being a dominant paint presence. But other aspects of his game, obviously, no agility or like or anything like that. But I can't have him not in my top 10. Shaq is absolutely dominant. And his career, he had 24, 11, and 2.5 per game. But the last, I guess, 7 years, he didn't average over 20. But between 93 and I guess 04, 05 with Miami was ridiculous, especially his years in Orlando and LA were like some of the best prime or the peak we've ever seen.
Yeah. My number 10, if you're basing your players like on overall, like can they do it all? This guy fits that role, and it's the big O, Oscar Robertson.
Yes, I like Big O.
25 points, 25.7, 7.5 rebounds, and 9.5 assists, his career totals, which is nuts. The first player to ever average a triple double.
Mhm.
He led the league in assists in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years. Won an NBA championship with whenever Kareem was on the team. Won an MVP. 11-time All NBA. Just does it all. Like he probably, if he would have won some more championships, he would have could be one of the top five even. But just one of the best players to ever play. Arguably, you could make argument one of the best point guards too.
Definitely. Just he could do everything. Just all
Yeah,
around really good player.
beast. Before even a 3-point line too.
Definitely. So my number 9, man, this is where it gets interesting. This could be a little controversial. So my number 9 is Kevin Durant. And
Wow,
I don't
the
know
person you hate.
yes. So Kevin Durant, people say he's the best scorer of all time. And I don't like saying that, but he is the most unstoppable scorer of all time. So I mean, he can score at any, all the levels. He can score inside, outside, in the middle, and with the mid range. He can tremendous free throw shooter, and with his 6'11", 7 foot, whatever you want to list him as, he can just rise up over you. Like there's really no stopping him when he's on, and so he's a career 27 points per game. I guess 7 rebounds and 4 assists. I think.
What's
I don't
his
know
career
where
shooting percentage?
his career shooting percentage is 49%, 49.6. So pretty much 50%.
Good.
Very good. So the thing for me is that when I look at the other guys, KD's always been a good defender, but not a amazing defender. He's long, athletic, which helps. But his ability, I'm not in the mindset like players can single-handedly carry teams. I used to think that way, and I'm starting to lean away from that mindset because we don't use that in any other sport but basketball, where like we say Tom Brady carried the Pats, but if the Pats didn't have a defense, they obviously would not have been Super Bowl contenders. So that's where I'm leaning with Kevin Durant, and I'm not taking into play his being up 3-1 and then going to Golden State. I just think that's awful. And even now, things aren't going well in Brooklyn, so he's trying to get out of there.
I think it was more he just didn't want to deal with Kyrie, even though he said he wants to still play with them.
There's something.
I know what it is. It's that picture Ben Simmons posted that said "feeling good." That just put him over the edge. They're like, we can't deal with this guy.
Definitely. But no, KD is one of the best scorers of all time, easily. And I don't know where he'll end up all-time scoring. He missed the whole 2019-20 season with the Achilles injury. So hopefully that doesn't put a wrinkle in, I guess his future stats. But
yeah,
that's all I got on KD for right now. I don't like the guy, but gotta give him his love.
My number 9 is you gotta have him on here. The greatest shooter of all time, Steph Curry. He's the greatest shooter of all time. There's he's a 2-time MVP. Finally got his finals MVP. Should have had multiple of those. 4-time NBA champion, led the Dynasty Warriors. He's the true leader of that team. Like if he was not on their teams, I don't think they would have won any of those titles.
Yep, I agree.
Just insane. Like what he's done at how old is he? 33, and he's the career leader in 3-pointers by like a pretty big a little margin right now, but it's gonna be huge. Like I don't know if anyone's gonna catch him. But I think it's crazy. His career 3-point field goal percentage is 42.8%.
That's crazy.
And he shoots a ton. He averages like 8 a game, or that's kind of his early in his career, he didn't average that much, but like these last years, he's averaged like 12 a game, 3-point attempts, and shoots 40%. Ridiculous. Also a great passer. I don't think he was as good of a passer at the beginning of his career, but he's learned to get more assists. He is respectable, like 6.5 assists. But
Mhm.
like the one player who I think, um, honestly, of all time, where if they're hot, you will not win.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Literally, just literally one of my fun. I think he's one of the most fun players to watch too, because he doesn't just like he does do it off the dribble sometimes, but watching him work off screens and just how quick his shot is, it's incredible.
Definitely. Is that all you got on the best shooter of all time?
Yeah.
So my number 8, and this is tough to talk about because I think he's the most recent overly rated player in the NBA in NBA history recently. It's Kobe Bryant for my number 8. And Kobe, I don't want to get, I mean, it's hard to talk about it because obviously he had a terrible death, but
R.I.P.
and I don't mean to be rude when I say this either, but people saying he's a top 3 player right now. I mean, if he was still alive though, like he would not, like people weren't talking about this until he passed away. And I know Kobe's, that's why I have him in my top 10, is just that killer mentality of like I'm just going to score, like score. And I do think he's a very overrated defender. I know
Overrated big time.
yeah. So I mean, there's like intricate stats where it talks about like defensive percentage and some kind of, what's that called? Something share, like win share type of
Win
thing.
shares.
I think that might be it. Like from his defense, and he's like extremely overrated, and it
Mm,
gives me Jeter vibes through this.
mm.
And
That's a good comparison.
yeah, I don't know. I don't like. I never really had, I guess, a disliking for Kobe, but yeah, he's obviously a tremendous player, and I know a lot of people put him in their top 5 now. But is he a top 5 scorer of all time? Yeah, we could have that conversation. But player, I don't know. But obviously, his career averages were 25, 5, and 5. So could really do it all. Not known for his passing, obviously. But I mean, his whole come up and just constantly improving every year. I mean, you look at his scoring; he's improving every year. And in 05, 06 had 35 points per game, which is ridiculous. Uh,
Crazy.
5-time champion, I believe, and then
What
I
was his
think
career
only,
field percentage? Was it over 40?
yeah, I believe so. Unless in one of those last few years brought him down. He was at 44.7%,
Not
and I
bad.
only believe he had one MVP.
Yeah, he only had one.
I don't even. Yeah, okay. 07, 08. So 18-time All-Star and obviously Hall of Famer. But my number 8 was Kobe Bean Bryant.
I'll just say right now, Kobe was not in my top 10. Wasn't in my
Uh,
top 10 even
I'm not
before
hating you for that. Yep.
AJ's recency bias. My next one, I don't know if AJ will have him in there because AJ likes flashy players, but Tim Duncan is my number 8.
Okay.
15-time All-Star, 15-time All NBA, 5-time NBA champion, 3-time Final MVP, 2-time MVP. Also, the big thing right here, what I want to say, 15-time All Defensive,
Mm-hmm.
15 years All Defensive. Like at the end of his career, he wasn't obviously as good as his beginning, but career average of 50%, average 19 for his career. Like it went down in his last like 5 years, but he was dominant. One of the best rebounders. He averaged 10.8 rebounds for his career. And in like his peak stretch, it was like 12 rebounds a game, like 24 points and 12 rebounds. And oh my God, he averaged 2 blocks a game for his career. Didn't realize that. Um,
Insane.
just like if you're a kid and you want to watch, like learn how to play basketball and you're a big man, I'd watch Tim Duncan. Like everyone always makes fun of him because it's like fundamentals, but if you're not like a freak athlete or something, you got to learn the fundamentals before you can do anything. And I just think he really worked in the gym and worked on doing the right things. And look at him, he's one of the best players to ever play.
Definitely. Yeah, he wasn't in my top 10, but I believe if I go back to my list, he was number 12. So, I mean, definitely could make the argument. I'm not against putting him in top 10 at all. And he thrived in that system in San Antonio. So, my number 7, and we're on 7, right? Isn't that correct?
Yes.
My number 7 was Stephen Curry, and I don't have more to say on him really than you already touched on. He was not in my top 10 before this last finals, and it's not because they won the finals. It's because he finally got that finals MVP where he was the best player. And I agree with you on those couple years they won with Kevin Durant, and Kevin Durant got the finals MVP.
Yeah.
KD deserved those MVPs, I believe, because he put them over the top. And Draymond even said recently, like, we were not going to beat the Cavs if he didn't come to us, because he was saying like the Cavs figured him out on how to beat him. And I mean, KD and Steph and Clay on the same team. Good Lord, like, how do you what do you do with that? But no, Steph, I believe, has changed the game more than anybody in the history of basketball.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
So I'm glad you agree with that, because some people still say like Jordan. And I think globally Jordan had that impact. But
Jordan still, I think, has Steph's changed the game, but I think Jordan still has the biggest impact worldwide.
Yes, I agree with that. But Steph's ability to just shoot from everywhere makes kids now just shoot like they think they can shoot from wherever.
Yeah, it's bad.
It's not good. So he's changed it for good ways and bad ways. But
Yeah.
it gives a lot of people hope because he's a smaller guard. I know he's listed at 6'3", but when he came into the NBA, he was a very thin frame. And obviously, like we've mentioned several times already, best shooter of all time. But getting that finals MVP really put over the top for me. And what put him over Kobe and Shaq and Kevin Durant for me is that he changed the game more than everybody else. And 3-time champion now, or 4? Four time. So yeah, he's getting up there for sure. But I don't know how many years he's got left. I know right now he's still doing his thing, but eventually the legs are gonna, like, he doesn't have that physical build to where, coming off screens right now, he has that endurance and ability to do that. So we'll see how many years he's got left. He's going to be 35 next season, which blows my mind because I remember when he was like getting started. But
yeah, it's crazy.
Yep, all love for Steph Curry at my number 7.
So my number 7 is a guy who, like, I was always like skeptical. Like, he's kind of overrated. I don't know if I want to put him in here, but I was looking at it and I'm just like, you can't leave him out of here. And that is a guy who played 13 seasons and won 11 NBA championships in 13 years, and that is Bill Russell.
Oof.
11-time NBA champion. Like, don't even have enough rings. He's more than double than LeBron's. 4-time total rebound champion. 4-time, not 4-time. Wow, I keep saying 4-time. 11-time NBA champion. 11-time All-NBA. 5-time MVP. And then he was 68, 69 all defensive. And I don't think they had defensive. That may have been their inaugural year of a defensive team, because he would have been probably all defensive. And I don't think they had finals MVPs either, because he probably would have had 11 finals MVPs.
Yeah, definitely.
He only averaged 15 points, but he had 22.5 rebounds, which is insane. And I think at one time he was like a player coach. So
yeah, he was. That's right. I forgot about that.
Like, just a national treasure, really. He's hilarious now in real life, flipping off people.
Yep.
Just a beast.
Yeah, I didn't have Bill in my top 10, but I do get that where all the love. And every time I see him, like, I know they did the top 75 recently, and they showed a picture of him, and he's getting older, so he looks more frail, and like, I don't know. There's something about Bill, like you said, you just gotta love. But my number 6 was a guy that him and Steph are right there. And I think Steph's very close. And by the end, Steph could be the best point guard of all time. But this is my best point guard of all time. At number 6, I had Magic Johnson. And Magic, if he wouldn't have, had some problems, we don't really have to talk about it. But
he wouldn't have.
From
had,
92
try to
to
sleep with more than just the appropriate the godly way.
Yeah. So 92 to 95.
If he would have found Jesus now.
Yeah. That was 4 years where he missed. And I think that really hurt, where he could have been probably even higher on my list. But you look at his stats, and every year it's pretty much the same. 18, 19 points per game. Couple years with 13 assists per game. Every single year besides his first 3, he had double-digit assists, and by double-digit I mean 12 plus a game. So ridiculous. Again, the longevity is a really important thing for me. And the 13 years, if he would have ended up playing 17, top three. I mean, maybe we're talking. So 12-time All-Star, fourth-time assist champion, three-time MVP, obviously on the top 75 players of all time, but not enough to say about Magic Johnson. Also 6'9", which is super cool out of a point guard to be able to do that, and added so much flash and like style to the game, which was awesome. But Magic was my number 6.
Number 6. Okay, so I was like looking at my list and I was counting, and I only had 9. I was like, who am I forgetting? But I found out my number 6.
Okay.
And that is Magic's rival, Larry Bird, who I wanted to so bad to put him above Magic. So bad. But I was looking at their stats. They're both 10-time All-NBA. They both have 3 MVPs. They're both just beasts, but Magic has the NBA championships. But yes. Larry Bird, he's one of my favorite players because he's not that guy who wows you athletically. He's just so skilled and just does his craft well. What's his nickname? Oh yeah, the Hick from French Lick, and that is like one of the coolest nicknames ever.
The great
a guy known for trash talking and just like he trash talk and he would live up to it and just destroy them. Yes. Won 3 MVPs, 10-time All-NBA, 3-time All-Defensive, 3-time NBA champ, Hall of Famer, obviously. 2 times Finals MVP, and my favorite story of Larry Bird, he played a whole game left-handed and scored like 40 points.
Yeah.
Will anyone else in this list do that? Probably not.
Probably not. So that's really well said because Larry was my number 5. And like you said, though, like Magic and him were so close to me.
Always through college, they had their big rivalries.
Yeah, I was about to say rivals for sure. So I've only put Larry above Magic because much better scorer and better rebounder. And I know Magic's a much better playmaker, but the assist numbers, Larry a couple of years had 7+ assists. So Larry was getting close to triple-double numbers. I'm in the belief that like 80s and 90s basketball is slightly overrated a little bit.
So
because we think about these bad boy, it was just the Pistons. Like we see the Pistons were bad boy, but there's more superstars now than there was there, or what was then, I guess. So you had the Magic, Bird, Jordan, Barkley.
I think there's more superstars now because no one plays defense, so more people score.
Yeah, I agree with the defense was definitely more emphasized back then. But Larry, again, I had him really, really close with Magic, and I just had him over because of the scoring ability, and he played 13 years as well, as same as Magic. So I mean, it's so close. So I have no problem with Magic being above him, but I personally had Larry number 5.
Yeah, so my 5 was Magic, and
okay,
as I said before, what put him top? He literally had like the same stuff as him, but it was the 5 NBA championships. Really, he had more championships in the same amount of years. He was a 3 times Final MVP, which I think Larry was 2 times Final MVP. But yeah, Magic Johnson, AJ, you touched on him, but he shot 50% for his career. Like I think he could have scored more if he wanted to, but I think, like you're saying, Larry was a better scorer. He was, but if you looked at like points created per game, I believe Magic would have more. Or like if you attribute the points to like a certain player counting assists, Magic would have more. Like I do like Larry Bird more than Magic, but what Magic did was crazy. For his career averaged 11.2 assists, and I'd say is the best point guard of all time. Like Steph Curry could beat that. I do think for me, for point guard, I'm like more traditional person where I think passing is really important. So I'd like to see Steph Curry like get like 7 to 8 assists these last couple of years. I think that's important. But I think Steph Curry will most likely probably take over as best point guard all time. But Magic Johnson was just an anomaly, I guess, or a blip in the
league of his own.
Yeah, 6'9", and he's point
Yeah.
guard. Just kind of changed the. He also is a player who changed the game where like taller people could be like play a guard position
Yeah. But
and
Ben
be able to
Simmons is the
pass.
second coming.
What?
Ben Simmons is the second coming of Magic
Yeah,
Johnson.
doesn't score that much.
Yeah. So my number 4 was the biggest wild card, I believe, out of all these players. Probably the biggest wild card in NBA history. Because if you look at the stats, he's the GOAT. It's not even close. Wilt Chamberlain averaged 30 points per game and 23 rebounds a game for his career. I mean, he obviously had the game, but he had a year where he averaged 50 points and 26. He had 4 straight years to begin his
So
career.
he's your 4. He's my 4 too.
Okay. So we can kind of
Wilt's probably,
join here.
I'll say, the most dominant player of NBA history.
Yeah.
And
Especially
I know
with
everyone's
the
like,
competition.
oh, we played. They always throw out this stupid thing. Oh, they played plumbers and all this stuff.
Yeah.
Like you try to go and play in like a YMCA league and try to average 50 points and 25 rebounds a game.
Mhm.
I don't even
Yep.
care who you are. That's just like domination.
Yeah.
Like his first years he didn't average below his lowest points per game in his first 5 years was 34.7, and his
It's gotta
lowest
be
rebounds was 22.3.
It's got to be the best rookie season of all time. 38 points per game and 27 rebounds per game.
Career 50.
Holy cow.
Like I've always said like he's always underrated. I think he's like 4-time MVP. Like he didn't get the championships, 2-time NBA champ, but like 7-time scoring champ. You can make sorry. You can make an argument that God, he could be the greatest scorer of all time too. Like
Definitely. It's so hard because he doesn't have like film on him, or he doesn't have like we don't see, like we can't watch it, so it's hard for people to I don't know, put him up there. Again, like I know some of my friends, I've heard him put number 1 all time. And
yeah,
I'm like,
I'm not opposed to that.
I'm like, yeah, maybe. I don't know. So again, all these guys, there's so many great things you can say about them. But my number 3 was
Wait, hold on.
Oh, you got more?
He led the league in rebounding 11 times.
Oh, out of his 14
7-time scoring champ, 11 total rebound champ.
Yeah.
And hold on, I just saw something. Wait, no. Wait, what? It said he was an assist champ one year, 1967, 68 assist champ, but doesn't have it like bolded.
Huh.
Hold on. What year was it? I already forgot. 67, 68.
Yeah, 68.
Yeah. Oh my God. He averaged 24.3 a game, 23.8 rebounds, and 8.6 assists.
Oh my gosh. That's just ridiculous. How many championships does he have though?
2.
And it's because of Bill Russell, right? About that same time?
Yeah, he was in that same time, yeah.
Bill was stealing all from him.
Yeah.
But
I think just the Celtics had a better team overall.
oh, definitely. They had Havlicek and Robert Parrish was on that squad. So yeah, that team was
obviously
loaded.
There was good players there still in the league, not just plumbers.
Yep. So my number 3, if we can move on now from the Wilt.
Sorry, I just love his stats
good.
are just great. It's like you're playing a video game.
Oh, it's definitely
Legit.
My number 3 and longevity for me is everything. So Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's 20 seasons in the NBA really means a lot to me.
I know too.
I know some people put Kareem number 1, and he right now, currently, not for long, has the most points in NBA history, but just ridiculous numbers. Never averaged under 20 until his last 3 years. And I mentioned like Bill earlier, where every time I see him, I'm like, oh, like that's how I feel.
Yeah.
That's how I feel with Kareem. So Kareem is 7'2", 225,
15-time All NBA,
19-time All Star,
11-time All Defense. He was my number 3 again. I don't know if you heard me.
Yeah.
6-time MVP.
Yeah, that's a big one.
6-time NBA champ.
Yeah, and
Just stud the sky hook.
did you say 11-time all defensive?
Yeah.
You mentioned that. Yeah. So obviously both sides of the ball. And the only reason I have my top two above him is just the ability to do everything on the court
Mm,
better than him. Not everything better, but like all around better player. But no, Kareem was ridiculous in his years, and obviously tremendous rebounder, and like you mentioned, the most unstoppable shot of all time. But
mm.
you got anything more on Kareem?
The most probably consists. I won't. I'm not gonna say that like he does the most points, but I'm not gonna say best scorer because he's my number one.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the most best big man, obviously. Just a guy who one of those players. If you think about it, all these players always seem to have their like signature shot, and like
Definitely.
Magic was obviously the pass.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Kareem had the sky hook, and I don't know. He just it's just crazy when you look at his stats, how many years he played, and how many times he scored over 20 a game. Like he averaged career 24, 11 rebounds, and he played like 20 seasons.
Probably the
So
most iconic shot of all time,
yeah,
I would say. Maybe the most unstoppable too, especially with his reach.
yeah,
Ridiculous.
his arms are so long.
So let's get on to the best part of this, my man. My number two was Michael Jordan. And
You're so stupid.
Michael, I have nothing bad to say about Michael, honestly. And I'm not even going to talk about like outside of basketball. I'm just talking in basketball here. So Michael's career, he averaged 30 points per game, 6 rebounds, 5 assists. We could really go without talking about Michael because everybody knows about it. 9-time all defensive, 14-time all star, 10-time scoring champ,
Beast.
5-time MVP, 6-0 in the finals. I know you're going to bring up that one, but um, played 13 years in Chicago, took a couple years off or 1 year off for baseball, then retired for 3 years, came back with Washington, and still averaged 20 points, 20 plus per game. So until he was 39. So obviously, like I mentioned, I don't even know what to say about Michael Jordan because after that documentary, everybody knows every single thing about the man. But
That documentary is so good.
it was very good. I enjoyed it a lot.
Kind of want to
So
watch it again because it's on Netflix.
Michael is not a good owner, I guess. I don't know how much
A
of an
good
impact
what?
owner,
Owner?
yeah, of the
Oh,
Hornets.
of the
I don't know
yeah,
how much. I was gonna say I don't know how much of an impact he has on the GM side of
yeah.
it. So I really don't know if it's. I should take that back. I really don't know if it's his fault or not. But obviously the Hornets have underachieved. But yeah, just killer mentality. A lot of. I mean, look at the minutes per game, 39 plus, a ton of times. And yeah, Michael was my number two of all time. What you got, my man?
Number two is obviously Lee Baum. Um, LeBron, Raymond James is number
Yep.
two. Like obviously LeBron's an amazing player. He's just not the best. He's number two. Um, but like 18-time All-Star, um, like does it all, like 18-time All NBA. Just been doing it consistently his whole career. 6-time All Defensive, which like spotty defender. He'll block a couple shots that'll get him an all defensive team.
Definitely not now.
Four
But
time.
yeah,
What'd you say?
he's definitely not an all time or defensive player now at age 38, but
Yeah,
almost
I
38.
don't think he was. When he tried, that was his problem. He didn't try all the time to play defense, but
Okay.
4-time MVP. It's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
3-time All-Star MVP. Those games matter. But just super consistent. Averages 27 a game for his career. 7 point, basically 7.5 rebounds and assists. So super consistent, kind of like Oscar Robertson, but taller.
Mm-hmm.
Literally just averages like a couple more points and like 2 less assists, and he's basically Oscar Robinson
Yeah.
reborn, if you
Yeah.
think about it. But he's not number one just because he hasn't really got it done in the playoffs, hasn't got the championships. He's been there so many times, and he's 4-6, right?
Yeah. Yeah. He's 4-6.
Wait, I could
Yep.
sorry, I can hear you.
He's 4-6. I'll get into that though. I'll get into that.
Yeah, he just couldn't get it done in the postseason. I think the best player of all time plays amazing in the regular season, which if you were going by regular season, greatest player of all time,
Mhm.
probably LeBron James. Yes, he's been like really good in every postseason. Like he's put up good numbers, except for the one where the legend Dirk destroyed him and LeBron only averaged 15 points a game. So he showed up
Mhm.
really good in that
Mhm.
series when he had a potent super team with them.
Uh-huh.
Um, but yeah, number two, if he'd have 10 championships, I mean, even if he had like um 6 or 7 rings or 6 rings, then
What if he finishes with 6? Like, I know it looks very unlikely right now, but if he finishes with 6,
no, can't
like,
be equal.
so you need 7?
He's probably need more than that. He's lost so many. Also, I'm a big person. Like a lot of these people on this list, literally everyone on this list besides LeBron James played on like the same team their whole career
Mm-hmm.
and just stuck it out and were very loyal and trusted everything. And they're gonna say the Cavs were bad. Like, yeah, they're not
God
like the
awful.
greatest, but
Yeah,
like they're honestly not doing too bad now.
no, they're good now for sure.
But like I don't know. I use number two.
So Bron was my number one,
Of course
and
he was your
I'm
lover.
I'm very loyal to LeBron, but I will say before I get started with my LeBron love here, um, I will agree with you. The decision that they called it in 20, I guess it was 2010, going into 2011, where he decided to go to Miami. I'm to this day, I'm still frustrated that he did that. And he's even talked about how he was immature then, he made a mistake, and I agree with that. I didn't like how he went about it, and I was a fan since I was a kid, but even I remember being 10 years old watching that, and I was like, I don't think this is going to turn out well because that whole next year he was the villain. You know, everybody
Mhm.
hated him, and as time has gone on, people have like, I guess, liked him more. Some people really don't like him still, aka
Same.
Zach.
Me and Tomlin.
But yeah, but he what was the other thing? Oh, the other thing was I agree, he really underperformed and choked. I will say choked in 2011 against the
You know who doesn't
Mavericks.
choke? Michael Jordan.
So that's where I'm like,
Sorry. I'm sorry,
so
guys.
Michael Jordan. I'll say this. So if LeBron James was placed in a system with Phil Jackson, Scottie Pippen, Dennis Rodman, Steve
At the time,
Kerr,
Phil Jackson wasn't like Phil Jackson, though.
but like
If you think about it.
I will say Scottie Pippen is better than any player LeBron has ever played with.
Mm,
I'm in full belief of that because if let's say LeBron would
I
have
don't know
stayed in
about
Cleveland,
that.
let's say if LeBron stayed in Cleveland and they would have been like the organization, they didn't show any signs of doing anything different. So if he would have stayed there and just rotted and done like Dame is doing, or in hockey like McDavid, I know they made it pretty far this year, but um, like what if you put all these numbers, we would just say he's not a winner. But that's where I come back to like basketball. A lot of people have this mindset like carrying, and Jordan didn't choke. He's 6-0 in the finals. Well, the Bulls were 6-0 in the finals, and like, why isn't Bill Russell with his almost 2 times as many rings as Jordan? Why isn't Bill Russell number one?
Why is he not in your top 10?
Because he averaged 14 points a game for his career, and like,
Exactly.
so what about Kareem? Kareem had more MVPs than Jordan.
He was
An MVP is a tough one because I believe Jordan deserved 12 of them, and I think LeBron deserved 12 of them, and Kareem deserved more. And but
Jordan
people,
was the 6-time finals MVP. Kareem was 2-time, and Kareem, he was like he wasn't like the main guy and a lot of the because he won them later in his career with
uh-huh,
with Magic.
older, yeah.
Like
So
LeBron was like the main guy in his championships. Like I'm not saying he wasn't the main guy. I'm saying like he also to get those championships, he like was like, hey boys, let's all go to I also know the reason I don't like LeBron is he started like this whole NBA thing where
the
players
super
just
team.
like are like, oh, I don't want to leave. I'm just gonna leave because I'm
Hmm.
too upset. I don't win in 1 year. Like,
Yeah. So
but like Giannis, like
see that's a
he
perfect
stayed,
example. That's a
and it's
perfect
not
example.
like the Bucks were like an amazing organization before that, but then they just took like chances on little pieces, and they kind of
Hmm.
like you got to get players who play good together too.
So yeah, so I think I've said this before on here is that if Giannis by age 37 has more than two rings, I don't know if I've told you this, but two rings, I've come to acknowledge that two rings is what does it for me. So
Giannis
at
will be
least
top five. I think top five and all time player by the end of his
if
career.
Giannis has more points, assists, and rebounds, and more, I mean, at least two championships by age, when he's done, I have no problem with saying he's better than LeBron, like at all.
How
And
many defensive player of the years has he had?
Giannis,
Yeah, has he already had like two?
two or three, yeah. So MJ was my till 2016, when the 73-9 Warriors, LeBron led that team and beat them. And I know he's had tremendous players that have played with him, Kyrie and K Love, obviously Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh.
Yeah, don't hate
And
on Dwayne Wade. I love Dwayne Wade.
oh yeah, I have a Dwayne Wade jersey in my room here. So yeah, I love Dwayne Wade growing up too.
That
But
that's the per that I don't know. I just feel like if you look at career, I think Dwayne Wade's like him and Scotty are really close.
you can
It's
definitely
just the championships.
D Wade would be the one that I would have a conversation with. Like Kyrie, skill wise and talent wise, definitely. He's just not put it
His
together.
mind.
And we've seen, bro, like even now, like there's rumors that Kyrie's going back to LA, or not back to, but going to LA.
Yeah, because
And
LeBron called him and was like, "I need you. I can't do it without you.
so you say
You can
that,
you
bro,
can
but
you can burn some sage around the court before the games."
what has Kyrie Irving won without LeBron? Like
What?
ever since I was saying, what has Kyrie won without LeBron? Because since he left Cleveland, all we've seen is drama, and he literally looks like he should be in an insane like asylum.
What is
But
LeBron won without Kyrie and
oh,
not help?
so much. See, who
AD.
doesn't
AD can if AD would have stayed, if AD when AD's healthy, he's
talent? Yeah,
so
definitely.
good.
But are you saying Jordan didn't get help then?
No, I'm saying he got help, but like if you look at like the finals, like final stats, like
Yeah.
of him in the playoffs, he led. I know LeBron, you're probably gonna say the same thing about LeBron, but he didn't that 1 year. But
Mm-hmm.
Michael Jordan, like every statistical category, led the team, maybe except rebounds, but like even in
Yeah.
assists too. And it wasn't like he was scoring like 28, it was like 30 plus.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
because
What?
Michael Jordan is my number one. I don't know if I mentioned that earlier,
Yeah.
but
I think we know.
I just really didn't get to say why he is. 6-time NBA champion. LeBron's lost 6 times. Michael's
Oh,
won 6 times.
can I reply to the six losses? Because
Hold
no,
on, hold on. I
no,
gotta
I
read off his
have to.
accolades first.
Okay.
Six
Okay.
times finals MVP. 9-time all defensive. LeBron has 6 all defensives. Yeah. He was also defensive player of the year. LeBron doesn't have that yet. 11-time all NBA. He only played, how many years did he play?
16, 17,
15.
15.
13 really counted. Like his Washington years, he's probably just
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
I'm just kind of getting a little bored here. I can
Yeah.
only play golf so much.
Yeah. Like, okay. So I know your disliking for Braun goes more than just inside basketball, like on the court. It goes
But also, yeah,
outside.
but also I think if you look pure basketball, I think Michael Jordan's ahead of him.
So that's where I mentioned this at the beginning of our debate here, is that like I look at somebody who can do everything on the court, and besides free throw shooting, and if you want to say defense overall, but I'll mention, I'll comment on that. LeBron does everything at a higher level than Jordan. He just doesn't have the accolades, and we can say,
Scoring, Jordan does better.
No, LeBron has more points all time.
LeBron's
That
played more seasons than Jordan.
That's my point exactly. If LeBron would have left the NBA to play football for 2 years, you would have said he's doing it for attention and he's attention seeking and all this stuff, all this nonsense. But
Well,
if
he probably
like
would have.
we're in an era where social media plays such a factor. Like if Jordan didn't have any of that, so we don't see the Jordan lowlights. We see every lowlight LeBron. Every turnover is posted, and then every highlight is posted. So I don't know. I think
Like I know you're
overall,
saying social media, but at the same time, like you weren't living when Michael Jordan was playing. Like I'm sure they were like the Skip Baylesses and Stephen A's
oh
of that
yeah,
time were just railing on him.
oh yeah. Um, but for me, we see this documentary come out, and it just seems kind of funny because he agreed to do the documentary a day after the Cavs won that 2016 title. Does that not sound like a little insecurity from the GOAT, Michael Jordan? A little insecurity. He has to come out with the documentary a day after they won that championship.
You're really stretching for this, aren't you?
I'm not. That's not a stretch, my man. That's
I think
like
he probably just saw the whole like championship and got like excited and was like, let's do a documentary on ours because it's going to be an awesome story to hear like everything and like the journey.
so. You mentioned the 6 losses for LeBron, and
Yeah, that's 6.
who did he lose to though? That's my point. So the first one was a San Antonio team with Tony Parker, Hall of Famer, gonna be Manu Ginobili, gonna be a Hall of Famer.
I wish
To-
NBA, if it was like a true Hall of Fame, like a
Tony
rigorous one,
Tony's
maybe
iffy.
not.
Tony's iffy. And then you praised Tim Duncan earlier. He was there.
Yeah,
And
like I
then
honestly hated the Spurs. I never liked Tony Parker.
Popovich is obviously the best coach of all time, I
Yeah.
believe. So they beat that, and LeBron had Vera Zhao and Eric Snow and Larry Hughes, St. Louis legend. And then
Isn't this sounding like college somewhere?
at I was gonna say he's at SLU right now. Actually, I think he is. I think he just signed there,
Hmm.
or not signed, but committed. Then he lost three. Yeah, three to the Warriors, who is a dynasty. He lost to a Kawhi, Tim Duncan, Tony Parker, Manu, Spurs team, and then he lost to the Mavs, which I
He
agree with
lost
you
to
was.
Steph Curry, Clay, and Draymond.
But
Once.
who did he have? That's my point.
Kyrie and Kevin Love.
They didn't play that series at all.
They didn't.
No, so
Was that his
Kyrie,
first year?
yeah. So K Love got his shoulder, still hurts me to this day whenever I talk about it. Got his shoulder pulled out of place by Kelly Olynyk, and then Kyrie had a knee problem. He played in
Kelly
game
Olynyk.
1.
I hate
I know.
Kelly Olynyk.
Me too, bro. Um,
Even though you like Gonzaga, wow.
I know he's one
Not
Gonzaga guy. I'm
supporting
not with.
your boys.
Yeah. But no. So everything for me on this list, I'll just come down to this: is teams win championships and players have a huge emphasis on that. But when Jordan left the Bulls, they had a two wins less than when he was with them, and Scotty took over. I think Scotty had to play second fiddle to him. Obviously, Jordan's way better, but if Scotty had his own team, Scotty was a bad man. Scotty was a much better defender than Jordan, and I'm confident on that. Scotty could guard 1 through 5, and that's why I think LeBron and Jordan are neck and neck. Is because Jordan could lock up guards like crazy. LeBron guarded centers against when he was in Miami, and then now he was guarding point guards at times, even at age 37, 38.
Well, yeah, because he's 6'9". Like some of that's just like genetics. He's not tall enough.
So, but I think that counts into it. So, like, if Kareem Abdul-Jabbar could do everything LeBron does, yeah, he's my GOAT. But he just couldn't because he's big and stiff. And I know we shouldn't count that against him, but I mean, it's just physically how you are. And LeBron only has 3 inches on Jordan. Like Jordan was 6'6", so it's not like a drastic change. And I'm not bad talking Jordan at all.
But like
I'm just
like your body, like yeah, he's tall, but like just your
gifted.
body, like competition. Like LeBron has broader shoulder. Like it's not like Jordan's like, oh, I'm
Yeah,
broad
yeah, I'm with
shoulders
that.
boy or whatever.
Yeah. So, I think like this is the best argument I think I have I don't know how you feel about it, obviously, but why is Tom Brady the GOAT in football?
He's won literally more championships than teams have in their
So
career.
Super Bowl, the Pats have won those Super Bowls, and he was their leader. But it goes back to like the defensive aspect. For me, if he had 3 or 4 rings, he's still the GOAT because Tom Brady, because he has all the accolades anyone could ever imagine. And we're judging Braun when he came off a year at age 37 where he averaged 30 points, 7 rebounds, and 6 assists a game. So if Braun is the best, most points ever, fifth most assists ever, 10th most rebounds, and he's top 10 in every statistical category. I know Shaq said it recently. If he
Do you
passes
think
Kareem
Frank
in
Gore
points,
is one of the best running backs to ever play?
yeah,
Just because he's played so many years, not
the
like he's
longevity,
really
yeah.
done like that great in a single season.
I don't think he's. Don't even talk to me about GOAT with Frank Gore, but like he's top. I'd have to look at it, but
10, 15.
definitely 10, definitely top 10 for me.
There's
I
some
just,
players who didn't play that long that are way better than him.
I
Barry
think
Sanders above him.
the if the only argument we have for Jordan is 6-0 in the finals, I think that's inconsiderate to
I think Jordan was a
everything
better
else.
defensive player, and like the accolades show that.
Like better defensive for his position, but versatility defensively, definitely Braun.
Well, yeah,
So
because he's taller. Like that.
if LeBron,
If
like,
you're
why,
like
why,
six
why
six, you're
could
not going to be
Braun?
guarding like
But
a
he should be
7 foot
slow.
center because and nowadays they have like 6'8" guys playing center, so it's a lot easier, and everyone just plays outside. Like you're
But
not going to see Michael Jordan guarding like Karl Malone or I guess Shaq did play when Michael Jordan was there playing, right?
at the end, yeah. So like,
Yeah,
why is then we should say LeBron shouldn't be able to keep up with Steph Curry, but he does because he's 6'9". He should
sometimes.
be slower on his feet. No, he still does. I mean, he's not even close to the defender now. He has to pick and choose. But when he sits in a chair at age 38 years old, he can lock you up. He'll
Yeah, the
body
one out
you.
of 40 times he decides to play defense.
But we just said that Michael Jordan was lollygagging his last 2 years in Washington. But now, if LeBron doesn't do anything his last couple of years, he's not good. And I think a lot of your hate, you have him second all time, so you obviously agree he's a tremendous player.
But he's
Uh,
not the best. And
and
he's not the best.
and I'm okay if he's not your best. But my point is, I think a lot of your in common hate comes from social media and things you hear of him saying, whether it be politically or anything he does nationally. That's what people have a problem with. For me, I don't have a problem if what he says compared to what somebody on the opposite side says. Everybody has a voice, and for him, he has a voice that reaches so many children and so many people that don't have a voice in the African American community and inner
Jordan literally
cities.
has the same voice too, and he was like he reached so many people.
But he wasn't standing up for anything. Like he was doing his thing,
I
you
know,
know.
but like he's still like you don't have to stand up to reach people though.
But did he
Like you
reach
can be a
people?
leader and a role model by not speaking by your actions and just like how
I don't,
you
I don't hear people say I look up to Jordan because of what he is as a man. People don't say that. So LeBron came from nothing. That's my point. Is like Jordan was a top, or he was a North Carolina guy. Had I guess he obviously had expectations, but he didn't have the LeBron come from nothing. LeBron had 13 different homes growing up, and just had literally was dirt poor. His dad was nobody still knows who his dad is. Obviously, people say he's probably dead now. They have 2 names that they talk about that looked like him that his mom might have slept with, but LeBron had like nothing, and then for him to have the expectations of being the best ever, and then I believe, and a lot of other people do, that he has exceeded those expectations. He's going to have 40,000 points, and he's not a scorer. That's just insane. Like he's a pass first guy, and he's going to have the most points ever by a good margin. He's going to pass Kareem this year. So for him to, Jordan has had like 3 different wives, and this has nothing to do with basketball, but Jordan, 3 different wives. LeBron has had the same girl since 16 years old, my man. Like, is
So now you're
tremendous.
taking the non-basketball stuff, aren't you?
No, this doesn't go with my goat at all. This is just me speaking some facts here. But he is just, we say he's unloyal because he left. But if he would have been placed in a system, I want you to pull up a list of his coaches that he's ever had. David Blatt, Mike Brown.
Eric Spoelstra, who you say is a great coach, right?
At the beginning, you said Phil Jackson wasn't good yet. Eric Spoelstra wasn't good yet. He is now.
But LeBron wanted him out because he was tired of him. But Pat Riley's like,
but who said?
Okay,
Who
young,
said? Like,
young
where is
boy.
this? Where is this information coming from?
I literally have seen it before. Like, I don't remember off like the top of my head where it was, but I literally saw something one time where like this actually happened.
But that's what I'm talking about. Social media. You sent me the message of like Michelle Beadle saying that LeBron DM'd her saying, like, people come up with the craziest stuff, my man. Like, we can't just believe whatever we see on social media, and we obviously should know that by now. So
I obviously don't. I don't just believe everything I see.
If LeBron is one of the most famous people on earth, correct?
Mm-hmm.
How has he not had a stitch of trouble? You think somebody would have found something, right? He's never in trouble with the law. He's never, from a kid who grew up.
Has Michael Jordan had trouble with the law?
He's not had trouble with the law, but we go back to the personal, like, LeBron came, I want to say it again, nothing. I mean, you and I are very privileged.
Do you know if like Michael Jordan came from nothing?
He came from a very wealthy home. Yeah, for sure.
How do you know that?
They talk about it in the documentary at the beginning. But even if you look it up, his parents were always together. And right now we just hate, there's so much hate on Bron for his beliefs on things. And he's very vocal about things. And people like to pick and choose what they want to believe. He wanted Russell Westbrook. So let's blame him. Yeah, I think he wanted Russ and Carmelo. But did he want the whole team? Hell no. Did he want Kyrie right now? He might want Kyrie. But he doesn't get to pick. Like, there's got to be a line where we say, is he the GM and he gets to pick every player? Or does he have a say in who they want? Like Steph Curry had to say he wanted Kevin Durant. Draymond calls Kevin Durant right after the game. Like, we don't say that about them, but we say that about Bron because he's very polarizing. You either love him, my side, ever since I was a kid, or you hate him, your side.
The right side.
I really don't have a problem if people hate him. But I just don't want the twisted of things where it's unnecessary hate and things that don't make sense. That's my point. But I have been waiting to have this conversation with you for a long time, so it was a lot of fun. And I'm glad you have a number 2. I was thinking Kareem would be your number 2.
I wanted to.
So I was a little worried about that, but
I did at one point have a bunch of stats. Like last summer, I looked it up and I found a lot of compelling stats that Michael Jordan was better. But yeah. I don't have time to do that.
And I don't have time either because I went through year by year because Jordan didn't win anything his first 7 years in the NBA.
LeBron didn't win anything his first 9 years, I believe. I looked that up. I'm pretty sure that's true.
But that's my point exactly. So then they drafted Scottie, and look what happened. And the Cavs weren't doing anything to help. It's kind of like the Oilers. They have drafted McDavid. They've had the top pick in many years and still haven't helped him out. So are we going to blame McDavid for leaving? Are we going to blame Tom Brady if he left mid-career?
I don't think McDavid's going to leave now.
I don't think they've played better now, so I don't think he will. But Tom Brady mid-career, how much of an impact did Tom have compared to Belichick? Because I think Belichick's impact on that team had even more than Brady did. So,
no. Obviously they're not as good as they were with a different quarterback. So
definitely, it's definitely a controversial thing. Anything LeBron does is very controversial.
And Tom Brady did win one with a different team without Belichick.
And a wholly amazing offense with that squad over there. But no, this will be something that you and I probably argue about till the day we die. And
yeah, I'll stand on this hill.
And I will too. So it's always fun discussing this for
Michael
sure.
Jordan had a lot of scoring titles.
Oh yeah. And that's where it comes to this era is definitely more talented and gifted. And that's why another 15 years from now, when Giannis is done, think about these guys coming in the NBA now. I mean, Giannis could easily be number one. He's the only guy right now that I think could surpass Jordan and LeBron for that number one spot is Giannis. I can't think of another one. The only other guy I can think of maybe top 5 eventually, and this might be a shock to you, Luka. I think Luka has a chance.
Yeah.
Steph's pushing it because he's our 7 and 8, I believe, respectively. So, but no,
Luka, they made promise this year, and you kind of think every all these guys, they always like their first years they'll get to the champion. Like LeBron and Jordan, they're like origin stories. They get to the conference championship, they lose to someone, and then like the next year they're like, I went to the gym and worked out. Which Luka should do.
Kobe,
highly recommend.
Yeah, we hear all these Kobe stories, these dramatic. Those Kobe stories kill me because people do like parodies of them now, where it's like, I don't know, I don't want to try it because it's not going to do it justice. You'll have to look it up. But definitely a longer episode today because of this segment for sure. But it was a lot of fun, and I mean, unless you're busy the rest of the week, hopefully we'll be back Friday or Saturday with another one. Probably shorter because this covered a lot of stuff going on, and like we mentioned last week, it's really only baseball happening right now,
which is awesome.
It's great. So besides that, you have anything else to say?
Nope.
We will see you guys Friday or Saturday for episode 33.
See you later.
Thanks for listening.